Well, good morning and good afternoon, Hardrockers. My name is Mark Vaillancourt, and I have the pleasure of serving as the Chief Executive Officer for the Center for Alumni Relations and Advancement, or CARA, here at South Dakota Mine. And it is my pleasure to welcome you to today's uh, Engineering Tomorrow, a conversation with Dr. Mark Robinson, the Department Head for Civil and Environmental Engineering. A couple of housekeeping notes here before we get started. At the bottom of your Zoom screen, you'll notice the chat, and I'd love for you to let us know who you are and your degree and where you're joining us from today. And part of today's conversation will involve an opportunity for you to ask questions to Dr. Robinson, and we're going to do that through the Q&A function of your Zoom app. So as you listen to Dr. Robinson share his thoughts on the department and his vision and all that stuff, and the question comes up, if you can please use the Q&A function of Zoom, and in about 15-20 minutes, we will then open it up and I will moderate, and we will serve as the moderator and ask your question to Dr. Robinson. Today's presentation is going to be about 45 minutes. We'll start with again, a presentation from Dr. Robinson. We'll take your questions and then we'll wrap it up. A couple of other things I want to share. We are recording this session today, and towards the end of the presentation, I'll give you a little bit more detail on how you can access that conversation and share it with your friends a little later. So again, if you're just joining us, let us know who you are, your degree, and where you are joining us and watching us from. And then again, the Q&A function in Zoom is where we're going to take all of your questions. So as you come up with them, please make sure to write them in there so that I can use them to facilitate that portion of the program. It is my pleasure now to welcome to the webinar Dr. Mark Robinson, who now serves as the head of our Civil and Environmental Engineering Department here at South Dakota Mines. Dr. Robinson, welcome, and thank you for joining us for this conversation today. And I'll turn it over to you. And I know you have some slides to share, so we'll let you get that started. And the floor and the audience is now yours.
Excellent. Thank you, Mark. I appreciate that introduction, and welcome. It's fun to see some of these names on the screen that are joining, several names I recognize and some that are you were here before I started here. So let me go ahead and share my screen and share with what I have. If you haven't been on campus for a while, when you walk into our civil engineering department offices, this is a new wall that they put and kind of shows some of the history of the Department of Civil Engineering. A little bit about myself. Some of you know me already. I've only been in this role as department head for just a few months. Jim Stone, who's our current provost, took that position over the summer, and I stepped into this role. And although it wasn't the role that I guess campaigned for or was looking towards or necessarily seeking, it's been a real honor and very fun and really neat to see what happens in our department. We have a great department. Jim left us in great hands. So exciting to serve now as the new department head. I've been here 17 years, and I can truly say I'm still excited to go to work every day. And so I hope to bring that same enthusiasm and feeling among our current faculty and students and others. Just a little bit about myself on more of a personal note. When I moved here to the Black Hills, I got into ultra running, and so I spent several years running ultra races, anywhere from 50 to 100 miles. Due to some getting old, basically, some joint issues, I switched to biking, and then more recently spent a lot of time with my boys backpacking in the hills. We just got back from the Beartooth in Montana this last week. And then this last year, my son and I built a boat. And so we have several hobbies that I really enjoy, especially linked here with the Black Hills of South Dakota. If I was to kind of share with you my vision in the short time I've been in this role, I think number one would be to have everyone be excited to come to campus every day. And I don't just mean the faculty, I mean the staff, the students. And I think how do we do that, at least for me, is having an engaging environment. When I feel just challenged enough and I have the capabilities to succeed, I'm engaged, I'm excited to come to work every day. And I think that can apply to both teaching, research, learning for the students. Some of the students that are or alumni on the call right now will recognize in the bottom right-hand corner of this graph that I have here that I'll often show in class for students. I'm trying to find where's the sweet spot where they're excited to be in class. And it's if class or the content's too easy, students become bored. If it's too difficult, they feel like they're lost and they wonder if they're the right class. And there's that sweet spot of just the right difficulty with the right engagement. I think that's one of my visions to get us to that point where everybody feels engaged and excited to be here. Number two is to produce the best product possible. Really our product as a university are the students, right? And knowledge. On the research side, we're trying to put knowledge out there, but primarily we're putting out students that are going to be the leaders in civil engineering for this next generation. And so I think, for us to make that happen, we've got to keep our curriculum current and up to date. And also we need to foster an environment of discovery, research, and innovation that our students are engaged or excited about solving tomorrow's problems. The last one, I build community and really, trying to build a community around students, faculty, and alumni. Many of you will know on Fridays, we have Free Food Friday to try to bring students together with faculty to just make connections. We try to help students make connections with alumni and industry at the career fair with a CE meet and greet, and just really trying to foster that community engagement. So I want to say a little bit about you folks. And I just looked at this the other day. I got the list of students who are incoming. We have 50 new freshmen that are starting in the fall, here in a few weeks. And 35 of those students have scholarships. Those scholarships total up to $72,000. And so it really says a lot about what our alumni are doing to give back, to provide opportunities for students. I had no idea before I stepped into this role that many students were receiving scholarships, which really, I think, says a lot about our alumni and they're willing to give and help the next generation of students. And then for Raising for Rockers this last year, we exceeded our goal. I think it was 20,000. But I think even more impressive than the number we got was that we had 57 different donors that gave to that Raising for Rockers. A lot of them being recent alumni. And that supports things like our CE meet and greet at the career fair, Free Food Fridays. We do a hard hat ceremony, but it helps us again to create this community feeling with our student that we use those funds. So I just wanted to say thank you for all those who donated and helped participate in these events. For those who've been away for a while, I just want to give you an overview of where we're at today in terms of faculty and staff. So as you see, I'm in the upper left-hand corner. We're going to have 19 people in our department now. Our department does cover beyond just civil engineering and environmental. It also covers atmospheric environmental science. And then we also cover the construction engineering management program. We do have 2 new faculty joining us this fall, Chuith Ravilla, who will be teaching environmental engineering, and then John Tharp, who will be replacing Lois Arneson-Meyer. If you don't know, Lois actually passed away about a year ago. We were extremely sad to lose her. She's been a kind of a rock on this campus for lots of years. So lots of students took classes from her. But John Tharp will be coming in to teach those statics and dynamics and mechanics and materials classes. We're excited to have him join us. And then we also have a new lab technician coming in this fall as well. So let me give you a feel kind of the state of the department, if you will. We have 6 degree programs from bachelor's and master's in AES, bachelor's, master's, and PhD in civil, and then the master's in CEM. And this is kind of the numbers. We're by far our largest number of students are the civil engineering, environmental engineering bachelor's degree. I will say we do have now a environmental specialization. About 15 to 20% of our students are in that environmental specialization within the civil program. We're seeing a lot of growth in atmospheric science. Particularly, that department is moving a lot towards decision support. So as you know, there's a connection here between AES and civil, and that every project we design as civil engineers, we got to be thinking about environmental weather type issues, right? So high winds, hurricanes, natural disasters. And so a lot of their focus are moving more towards decision support. How can they use their weather monitoring skills and meteorology skills to predict things like flooding, high winds, for insurance companies, for the military, for agriculture, for all these different industries. So I think it's neat where they're headed with that program. And we're seeing quite a bit of growth with the bachelor's degree in that program. Civil environmental engineering, 205 is the highest we've been in the last 5 years. So you see kind of a very slow, steady growth there. The market right now is excellent for civil and environmental engineers. And so I think we see more students coming in to this area. The master's program is actually, you see from 2021 to 25, we've taken quite a dip there. And that really, again, has to do with the market. So we're seeing more bachelor students come in because the market's so good. For the same reason, the market's so good, lots of students are taking jobs right after their bachelor's degree. We're starting to see that bounce back a little bit. I think we've got 9 students coming for the master's this year. I expect we'll see that creep up more and more as more and more positions are filled. And our PhD program has stayed pretty steady, about 16 students, which is about where we want to be in terms of our research productivity. Construction engineering management program, that program has remained healthy. We're right about the peak this coming fall with students coming in. Again, that's an all online program. A lot of you who did civil engineering here, especially if you did a master's program here, you probably did some CEM courses as part of your master's degree. And I think that's been quite helpful and has helped a lot of people in their careers to have part of that management content with their civil master's degree. One thing we've really emphasized the last, I'd say 4 years with Jim Stone as department head, and we'll continue this, is we do these SGID surveys, small group diagnostics surveys in every class, every semester. I think many of you, if you've graduated in the last 10 years, have probably participated in one of those. But the IDEA survey, the student surveys on course quality is quite high in the civil department. So on a scale of 1 to 5, we're over 4.5 for excellent teachers, or over about 4.4 for excellent course. And I think we'll continue to see that go up as we really put a high emphasis on quality teaching, kind of project-based learning. So not so much lecture style, or it's lecture combined with group projects and doing actual design, which I think is really engaging our students, making them excited to be involved, and helping them to connect with solving these real-world challenges and problems that are coming up. On the research side, this is just a snapshot of where we're at today. So this is the current grants we have going on in the department today. We're just under $800 million in grants. And so you can see, particularly in the environmental and the water resources areas with Dr. Gadamarchetti and Dr. Giza, there's lots of work going on. Dr. Shearer in the structures area has a lot happening. And then our Dr. Costafilo, he's a new faculty. So we're excited to see him get started with his research. And then a little bit going on with AES and geotechnical engineering as well. And that's the end of my spiel. So I'm open for questions, Mark. I'll stop sharing my screen here.
Well, thank you, Dr. Robinson. So again, as a reminder, if you just joined us before, or as Dr. Robinson was sharing his presentation, we are using the Q&A function here of Zoom. So if you have a question, please type it into the Q&A section, and then I will serve as the moderator and get those lifted up and presented to Dr. Robinson. So Dr. Robinson, as those questions come up from our audience here, maybe answer the question that I think you've talked about and I've heard you speak a little bit about, but what makes your department or our civil and environmental engineering department here at South Dakota Mines special or unique? What is it about us that makes us different than maybe other places?
Yep. This is the question, particularly when I have prospective student visits. This is the question that comes up. Why should I come to School of Mines instead of, School X in Montana, Wyoming, or Minnesota, wherever else? And I think just the nature of our campus, we're very specialized in engineering and science. And so I always tell parents, I tell students, what we do really, really well. What we don't do well at all, right? So if you're coming here to get a bachelor's in fine arts, we don't do so well at that. But if you're coming to get a degree here in engineering or science, that's our thing, right? That's what we do. And so we're very good at it. We're geared towards that. Our funding, all goes towards labs, equipment. So we're very hands-on, a lot of interaction with faculty and students, trying to provide that opportunity for students. So we're really working to prepare students to go into industry, right? To have real world practical experiences For us in civil, we do capstone design. Every project is with a real client, with a real project. None of it's hypothetical. We're developing these, students are developing a portfolio when they leave of working with real problems with real people. And so I think that makes us special, our kind of focus and concentration there.
Great. We have a question from Don here, who's asking what sort of student-initiated projects are ongoing in the department, and then a follow-up question: what happened to the concrete canoes?
So I'm not sure what I guess first question, initiated projects. I'm not sure if he's talking about ASCE projects or the nature of the projects, but we do still with ASCE, we do have an active concrete canoe team and steel bridge team. In fact, both teams went to nationals this year. I think concrete canoe placed in the top 10 and steel bridge was the top 30 at the national competition. We do still have two concrete canoes on campus. So if you'd like to see a concrete canoe, we have one in our building and there's one over in the Alumni Center, I believe.
Yes, there's one hanging right across from where I'm looking right now in the Pearson Alumni Center.
So I believe the one we have here in our building is one of the lightest concrete canoes to ever go to nationals. And so we've kept that one for lots of years.
Dr. Robinson, we hosted a couple of events here this spring, right?
Yes.
I know we did something with concrete canoe, but can you share a little bit about what we hosted here on campus?
Absolutely.
In Rapid City?
Yep, we hosted the entire ASC regional competition conference was hosted here in Rapid City. So we hosted it over at the event center, the monument, which turned out to be an awesome place to host it. In fact, we got lots of comments from other schools of how awesome that event was to have it hosted there, where everything we want to place. We had concrete canoe races down at Angostura, did steel bridge competition over there at the event center. There was an outdoor surveying competition where they had to find land markers, doing a land survey. There was a construction management design competition that was there. And then there was a sustainability design where they had to design a sustainable community that they did ahead of time. And then something new that if you're involved with AAC but haven't been involved the last few years is they have a timber strong competition where students actually build a timber building on site. It's a 2-story kind of small building. They get points based on, they have to do the whole technical design ahead of time and submit construction documents. And then they build a little building on site. And so it's a new competition this last 2 years.
Great. Here's another question. Everywhere you go, whether it's online or in the news, you hear about artificial intelligence. So maybe talk a little bit about the future of civil and environmental engineering when it comes to AI. How will that impact the course load? How will it impact the profession? And how are you helping our students prepare for that?
Right.
As they go through your curriculum?
Yeah, so I think number one, AI is here. And I think, this conversation we might have 6 months from now might be different because AI is changing so quickly. But this is a question we get a lot from, again, prospective students and parents is one, how is AI is it going to impact the future of civil engineering in terms of, are we going to need civil engineers? And I think I can confidently say yes. Number one there, I just came back from the department heads conference in LA this summer. They had probably one of the biggest firms in the country who is developing AI for civil engineering. They had them at that conference to talk about what does AI mean for civil engineering. Their feeling right now, as being one of the top producers of these AI agents, is that we're not going to see a decrease in the number of civil engineers needed. We're just going to see the expectations being higher for civil engineers, right? In terms of where we may have provided one concept or two alternatives for a plan before, clients are not going to expect maybe 4 or 5, right? And they're going to expect to see things more optimized as we have these AI tools to help do that. And so their feeling is we won't see less jobs. We'll just see more higher expectations, and us as engineers able to be more efficient. What does that mean for us, for our students, to prepare them for that? AI has so many different flavors and so many uses. The recommendation or the feeling from that group there is that the thing we should be focused on is making sure we're just exposing students to AI and showing them how to use it responsibly. For example, I teach a wood design class last spring. In that class, I took a problem we were solving in the classroom, the statement. We had already solved the problem in the classroom. We had the correct solution. I put it into AI, into ChatGPT, and said, hey, solve this problem, do this design. And it gave us a design back that was completely wrong. In fact, would have been dangerous to construct. And so I asked the students, well, why didn't that work, right? Why can't I just feed a problem in and get an answer back? And one, AI is not an engineer, right? It's just a processor that takes data and it does its best it can to take what it can find on the web and produce something. And so then we started walking through the students and say, what did we not tell AI? And the students were quite good and said, well, we didn't tell it if we're using LRFD or ASD design approach. So we then gave it that information. It got a little bit closer solution. We didn't tell it this. We gave it that. It got closer. And it got closer and closer to the correct design, the more information we gave it. And so I was helping the students realize AI is only as good as what you can prompt it to do. And so I think our task as faculty is to help students, one, recognize that the shortcomings, but then to help them to see that if they can provide a good prompt and they understand the theory, that they can actually use it as a tool, right? And so I show the students how they can use AI to develop some Excel sheets for design that work quite well. And so I think that I don't know that we need to have specific classes on AI, but we need to bring it into the classroom and show them how to use it in real time and real practice, because that's what they'll be doing when they get into industry. Is they're going to be doing problems and they're going to have this tool, and where does this tool fit in to solve problems? And so I think it's really exciting, the advances we'll see in civil engineering, but it'll be upon us as faculty and universities to figure out how to help students use it appropriately. Yeah.
Great. I want to come back to the question asked by Don. He gave us some clarification here, and what he was talking about when we spoke about student-initiated project was especially by undergrads, not as assigned projects, but initiated specifically by the students' curiosity about something.
That's a good question. I'm not sure that I'm aware of any. Well, I'll give you an example. We had some students 2 years ago that got really excited about sustainability. So we have sustainability is a kind of a core part of our curriculum now. They started a sustainability club, and as part of that club, they wanted to do two things, initiate two activities. One is they wanted to have better recycling. So now if you come in our building, on one whole wall in the civil building, there's every type of recycling you can think of. Electronics, plastics, glass, food, right? That's all in separate bins. Those bins are then shipped off once a month to a recycling place, and those students maintain that. The other thing they wanted to look at was vertical agriculture, farming. And so they actually built in our building, there's grow lights with these PVC pipes with little holes that have plants growing out of them. And they grew tomatoes and basil and spinach and all these different plants. And it was fun, as people walked by the big poster, it talked about sustainability and vertical farming, and those students initiated and carried that project out. So that's ongoing. Like if you come to our building this year, you'll see that recycling and that vertical farming in the halls of the civil building.
Great. Thanks for clarifying the question, Don. This next question is from Ethan, and the question is as follows. Are there plans to expand the course list the department offers? As a new graduate structural engineer, I'm finding it would have been nice to have classes about seismic and masonry design.
Yep. Great question, Ethan. I know Ethan quite well. I've had him in lots of classes, and we would always like to offer more courses. One thing that I'm doing, we do have a seismic class. I believe it's actually offered this fall. It's on the geotech side, so it's more about the earthquakes than it is the actual building design. I am working with SDSU, their department head. I have right now the grad courses I'm teaching this fall. I've got, I think, 4 or 5 students with SDSU registered for our classes. They're going to take them online, and I'm trying to get them to reciprocate with their courses. So 2 classes I'm trying to get from them. One is an advanced concrete design class, and then also they have a bridge engineering class that I'm trying to get them to offer online as well, to provide more opportunities for our students. We will be hiring a new faculty to replace me, and I plan to continue teaching as much as I can, at least some. So that might give a little opportunity for a little more breadth, but hopefully through SDSU, we can pick up a couple of courses.
Well, you kind of answered one of the questions that I was going to ask you as somebody who's been in a classroom and in teaching mode for 17 years. and now you're stepping into a department head role. Are you going to miss teaching? But it sounds like you are intentionally making sure that you don't lose that aspect of engaging with students, correct?
So I will definitely stay in the classroom. I love it. Like that's what energizes me, right? That's what gets me excited about being here is working with students. So I definitely will stay in the classroom. How much we'll find out after this year. This year, I'm teaching 3 classes each semester, a full load, because we don't have a replacement for me yet. And so we'll be starting a search this fall, hopefully making an offer this spring to have them start the following fall. But I would definitely like to stay in the classroom as well.
Wonderful. Again, if you have any questions, please use the question and answer function here so we can use all of the time we have with Dr. Robinson. Another question that came up is, what are some of the career opportunities? I'm sure that parents, when they tour, and students like, okay, if I get this degree, what can I do and where can I work? So maybe give us a little bit of sample of some of the things, how you would answer that question.
Sure. I think I'll start with the where, and I think this is unique to civil, in that I would say a civil engineer you can work almost anywhere. So I think you'll look at our students, they go all across the country, and when I say anywhere, I mean big city, small city. It doesn't matter what city it is, there's going to be a civil engineer there. Even at the very least, there's going to be a city or county engineer that oversees road projects, water projects, those sorts of things. Some of the more specialized degrees like aerospace engineering, which is, I think, it's a great field to go into. Those are very specialized, and you're going to be kind of on the East Coast or West Coast, right? And so civil engineering is pretty broad, and you can go almost anywhere you want to go. I'm just looking at some of the names from our students here. They're all across the country, and so have worked in different places from the coast, the Midwest, and everywhere. So opportunity is really everywhere in terms of location. That's, I think, one reason why students like it is freedom in terms of where you want to live. There's lots of opportunities. What are the opportunities? I think one of the opportunities are growing, especially with AI. And so, our typical areas we talk about would be structural engineering, water resources, environmental, geotech, transportation, construction engineering. So we have a construction engineering minor now. A lot of our students, you might go into want to specialize a design field where they're designing stuff, but a large number of students actually go on the construction side where they're actually building what's designed, right? So they're managing the construction side. And so it's probably got to be one of the broadest areas of engineering out there. I tell prospective students, I said, let's look out the window. If we did not have any civil engineers, what would we see out the window? And the answer quite literally is cars and airplanes. Everything else would be gone, right? No water systems, no buildings, no roads, no traffic systems, no transportation systems. It would just be some cars, but no parking lots. That everything we see around us, our infrastructure is all designed by civil engineers. And so it's if you like chemistry and biology, environmental engineering is your thing, right? It's part of civil. If you like physics, structural engineering is very physics driven. If you like some geology with some physics, geotechnical engineering, looking at soils and what happened underground is your thing. So it's a degree that offers something for everybody.
As you know, we have a very engaged and passionate community here. I will put our alumni community against any other universities, and the Hardrocker community is second to none. But what are ways that this community can support the department? I know there's always a need for funding, but is there other ways that our alumni can engage with you, or opportunities they can take advantage of to help support and expand the visibility of the department? How can they help you get to where you want to take the department?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think number one, a lot of our students, when I ask parents or the students, like, what made you want to come to Mines? It was usually, well, it's an uncle went to school here, or an aunt went to school here, or a friend went to school here, or good family friends said you got to go to school there. So number one is getting the word out about who we are, what we do, right? The quality of education is here. So I think our enrollment growth is largely I talked about, as part of my vision, is we want to put the best product out there. As our alumni become leaders and the best product out there, and they share where they came from, that's what helps attract students to come back to Mines. And so I think one, in terms of enrollments and in terms of recruiting students, can be a huge help. just by getting out. Even if that means, getting involved with the ASCE and getting involved with outreach activities at schools and things like that can be really helpful. We don't only just need students coming to School of Mines, we just need civil engineering students nationwide right now. There's a real shortage, which is why there's enrollment's good. There's just a real shortage of civil engineers across the country. So whatever we can do to make visible even just civil engineering I think is beneficial. I know we have one of my former students who's actually at Burns and McDonald is very involved with going out in the community and going to K through 12 and still right helping recruit and bring students in the civil engineering industry and helping represent who we are as a School of Mines. If you're in a position to be employing students, get involved with coming to our recruiting fairs, our job fairs, and get involved that way. If you have job opportunities, send them our way, and we're more than happy to share that with our students. Right now, I think most people, there's not enough students to fill all the positions, but if you're looking for top high quality students, please let us know.
All right, I'm going to make a last call for questions. So this is your final opportunity to put a question in the Q&A section. And while I see if anyone has taken up that offer, Dr. Robinson, let me ask you this very simple question. So you've been in this environment for the past 17 years and probably more. What excites you about the next 17 years when you think about civil and environmental engineering and the work that you and our faculty here at South Dakota Mines are doing to advance the profession and to equip our future civil engineers out there? So what excites you about the next 17 years?
I think one thing that excites me is to see where the technology is going to go, right? I think it's going to be exciting to see what we're able to do, right, as civil engineers. I think a lot of our work is going to become much more interconnected, right? Not connecting with civil across other industries. I think we're already seeing that, so I think it's exciting to see where that's going to be heading these next years. One of the things that our new president, President Tandy, is really excited about is he's calling it innovation-based learning, which is kind of this this vision to see us become more connected with local industry, and even having, for students who between here and downtown, there's a lot of empty lots, is trying to bring in tech industry close to campus to work directly with our students on technologies and projects and that sort of thing. I think that's really exciting to see, building a stronger connection directly between students and industry, right, where they can be innovating and working on real projects as a student, right? They get that as a capstone right now, but I think we'll see more of that going forward in the future, where it becomes much more hands-on, integrated with industry, working with real, technology and the tools that are out there for our students.
Great. All right. So here's what I'm going to do. I've put my email address in the chat. If you come up with any questions and you'd like to share them with me, and I will certainly pass them along to Dr. Robinson as I get them. Just before we wrap up, a couple of things I want to share with you. First, this is the second of these Engineering Tomorrow conversations that we had. We held one last week with Dr. Mitra in our mining and mining management department. Today, obviously, with Dr. Robinson, and then next week and over the next couple of weeks, we'll be connecting with the new department heads for geology and geological engineering, along with chemical and biological engineering, and then wrapping up our series with industrial engineering. A couple of things. I mentioned that this webinar or this conversation today was recorded, and it will be available first before we put it on our YouTube channel for the world to see. It will be available inside the Hardrocker Connections alumni portal. So there's a QR code there. You can also go to our website at sdsmt.edu and look for the alumni portal, the Hardrocker Connections. We'll put that recording there first for a little bit before we push it out to our general YouTube channel. Again, the Hardrocker Connections, a great opportunity for you to reconnect with classmates, and we're really excited about this platform and hope that you will join us. A couple of additional things I want to share with you. In just about 2 weeks, maybe less than that now, our students are going to be back on campus, which means that sometime in September, well, just a little bit after they're all settled in, we will gather as a community for Rocker Days with lots of great activities. And if you can and have an interest in joining us, I hope you will. Here's the schedule of activities. As you know, the campus has evolved over the last 5 years. We added the new core mineral industries, and I'm happy to report that the Surbeck addition is now complete, and students are going to be moving into that space starting in a couple weeks here. But we'll have the official expansion ribbon cutting on Thursday, September the 24th. Then, of course, we have the alumni, our Hardrocker Heritage Gala on the Friday, and then, of course, the alumni football game and the homecoming football lineup. So lots of activities going on here on campus as school begins and our students bring this campus back to life. It has been quiet here, and I'm sure that Dr. Robinson would agree. There is something about a few weeks of quietness, but then it gets really, really lonely when we don't have our community of students here. So again, on behalf of all of us here at the Center for Alumni Relations and Advances, I want to thank you. And Dr. Robinson, any final words for our community here before we wrap up?
I just want to thank you, Mark, for hosting this. This has been great. It's exciting to see the engagement with past students that are interested in what's happening in our department. So thank you.
Great. Well, thank you, everyone. Have a great rest of your day, and look for more information on the next few Engineering Tomorrow conversations. We're glad that you were here. Be well and have a great day, and go Hardrockers. Thank you, everyone.